name is Dave Dockery. I'm president of the Tampa Bay Computer Society. And before I introduce the speaker, I wanted to say something that I heard recently that kind of changed my view over what we're all doing these days with this media stuff. And it was a speaker I saw that said, I no longer see people as a single person. I see them as the head bowling pin and a group of 10 pins, because behind them are all the people that they are connected to, each of whom has another set of 10 pins connected to them. And so something that I had missed, which is obvious, but which I missed, LinkedIn assumes that 3 degrees, you have some influence. It's called 3 degrees of influence. 6 degrees of separation, 3 degrees of influence. And so they count how far you influence. I want to tell you that the lady that I'm about to introduce to you, I had an account that was 1.3 million third-level people I could get to. In 48 hours, all of a sudden, I had 14 million people that I could get to. So I'm going to tell you, listen to her. She's got good advice. Nancy Lane, take it over.
Thank you. Hello. Hello. I'm a professional connector, and I bet some of you guys are too. And so before I started talking, I just wanted to find out who's on LinkedIn right now, who has an account. I figured that a lot of people that came here would have one. Now, for the brave ones, would you mind raising your hand if you don't have one? It's okay, because a lot of people don't. Okay, a couple people don't. Okay, they're proud of it. Just kidding. It's all about being found and being able to find other people, bottom line. So if nobody can find you on LinkedIn, it may not do you any good. And you know how we were listening to somebody a few minutes ago, they were doing another talk over here, and they were talking about how it could be that one reason a lot of us struggle is because we're trying to do it alone. We're an island. Would anybody agree with that? Yeah. I mean, it's like the people that are really super successful, if you get to know them, they don't try to do it by themselves, do they? They know people. Everybody would say it's who you know, right? Did anybody disagree with that? I mean, and so here's the thing. A lot of people on LinkedIn, it's really amazing to me. I find out that people are afraid to put their phone number and their email address on their profiles. And I'm telling you, if you're going to be on LinkedIn, go ahead and do that, because if somebody finds you, they want to know how to connect with you. And if you don't have your email address and your phone number on your profile, they may not even be able to invite you to connect with them. So they won't be able to connect with you at all. And the same back. If they don't have their contact information on theirs, how are you going to ever connect with them? And that's what it's all about. Like Doc was saying, a lot of people have been on LinkedIn for years. I know that I was like that. Has anybody been on LinkedIn for a whole long time and they really it's just kind of, their profile's just sitting there and they just, they really just don't quite know what to do with it? That's so common. Don't feel alone. So that's kind of what I'm here to talk about a little bit today, is just how to help you with a few really specific things that you can actually use today. So, some more questions. Okay, so for those of you who are on LinkedIn, how many have at least 500 first level connections? Great, great. That's the first step to get to. You got to get to 500 first level connections. And what I mean is those are people that you've either actually invited yourself or somebody's invited you to connect with them. And Dave, would you go to the connections page and contacts and down to network statistics, just right here, and then down to network statistics. I want to show you something. If you go to contacts up at the top and down to network statistics, this is a way to measure your progress. And a lot of people don't even know that's there. I think this is one of the most important things to know about LinkedIn. This is what you can do to measure your progress. Like Doc here has now 810 first level connections, and he's got a network, a searchable network of almost 15 million people. And this changes all the time. So how many people are on LinkedIn? 75 million. But 14 million is a good place to start. Okay? So this brings up one of the most important points. A lot of people say to me, I don't connect with anybody I don't know. Well, there's some points to be made for that. However, one thing that most people don't know about LinkedIn is if you're not connected with somebody on the first, second, or third level, or you're not in a group with them, you might be searching for them on LinkedIn, and you'll think that they're not there if you can't find them, right? If you search for their name and you don't find them, wouldn't you just naturally assume, well, they're not on LinkedIn? It's not true. They're just invisible to you. Did anybody not know that? A lot of people don't know that. And that changes everything. That's really important to know. So now we know that you have to be either the one who invites them, they have to invite you. But see, here's the thing, when you invite somebody, you also automatically get their first and second levels that they've got. That's how your network grows this fast. So, you want to invite people that have a lot of connections. How do you tell? Well, you can go onto their profile page, and if they have less than 500 connections, right here, let's see, if you scroll down just a little bit, you can look right here. Okay, if they have less than 500 connections, it will tell you exactly how many they've got. And if they've got over 500, this is the most you're ever going to see. But there's ways to tell how many they've got. A couple ideas. If you go to, see now here, Doc has chosen to leave his connections open so people can see who he's connected with. But this is a choice you have. So, if you have some good reason for not wanting people to know who you're connected with, and there are a couple out there, you can hide that. But, let's see, like, go ahead and if you would, just click on the connections part. And when you click on that, okay, this is the contacts page. This is who Doc is connected with. If you go down to the bottom of this page, okay. And let's see here. Let's see. Okay. Go back up, actually go back to the contacts page. Okay. All right, and scroll down. Okay. Now look at this. Look at all these people that Doc's connected with. 500 plus on most of these people. So that's why he grew his network so fast. And there are ways to, basically what I do is I connect people with people that I know. And it took me years to grow mine to the point it was, but it doesn't have to take you years. There's fast ways to do it. And so, if you know how to use this, like, okay, here's something I want to show you right now. Look at this. This is the advanced search kind of thing. If you would, then click on locations. This is one way that you can see who you're connected with. LinkedIn does this for you automatically. It has everybody's, by the town they're in, the state, the country. If you would go to the top and go back to Tampa Bay, let's click here. He's got 91 people in Tampa Bay. This is something I really believe in, is I think that we ought to start where we are, don't you? And the people that are here at this conference today, if everybody just asks each other, are you on LinkedIn? What I do when I go to a networking event now is something different than I ever used to do. I'll go up to people and say, can I have your card? Are you on LinkedIn? And if they say yes, I'll say, great. I'll go home and I'll put you in my network tonight. And so as soon as I do that, they now have access to my first and second level network. And we share networks that way. So what if we can just build a mastermind team really quickly of people in Tampa Bay? So here's one idea I got, and this is just something that might help you too. Like I said, if you're in a group with somebody, you can ask them to connect with you without even knowing their email address. That's a real advantage. Plus, there's all kinds of specialized groups that you can join. I started a few, and one is called Tampa Bay 500 Plus. The only people that can be in it are people that have at least 500 first level connections. I've also got 1,000 plus, 2,500 plus, and 5,000. This had never been done in Tampa Bay before. So, as soon as you qualify, you can join one of these groups, and then everybody in there you know is a pretty serious LinkedIn player, or they wouldn't have 500 connections. You'd be surprised how many CEOs of marketing companies in Tampa Bay that don't even have 500 first level connections. And they're running marketing companies. It's really surprising. Don't assume that people that have big companies know how to use LinkedIn. I'm finding that Almost nobody does, really. Just learning what you know right now is more than what most people know. Now here's something about making connections. Remember this is really important. The most you can invite yourself in your whole lifetime is 3,000. You won't find that written anywhere on LinkedIn. And that is so critical. You know how most people find out? They just invite everybody, it doesn't matter how many connections somebody has. All of a sudden they've used up their invitations, but they didn't know there was a limit. And so they go to invite somebody, and it says, sorry, you don't have any invitations left. And they're like, what? And that's it for their lifetime. They'd have to start a whole nother profile in order to get any more connections. Did everybody here that has a LinkedIn profile know that you only get to invite 3,000 people in your whole lifetime? No. Did anybody know that?
No.
Can you uninvite people so you can invite somebody else?
Good question.
Guess what? That is a very good question. Thanks for asking that, because I contacted LinkedIn customer service, and I'm like, what's going on here? How come you can't find this in writing anywhere that that's the rule? Well, they've got their reasons, but they're not going to tell us. But now if somebody else invites you, you can accept up to 30,000. So that's the whole game here. Get people to invite you. There's all kinds of ways to do that. You can start your own group. You can join groups and make it really very obvious that you want to join people's networks and they can invite you. Okay, here's a really important point. You want to join 3 groups in particular. Lion, Open Networker, and Top Linked. Okay? I'll say it again. Lion, that stands for LinkedIn Open Networker. You'll notice at the top of a lot of people's profiles, I'm going to go back to his profile page. What I tell all my clients to do is put Lion right in your title, right here. This is LinkedIn lingo. It's secret code for people that are really savvy on LinkedIn. When they see that, they're like, oh, it's safe to invite this person. They're not going to say they don't know me. Now, you know what's so funny? LinkedIn tells everybody, don't accept anybody's invitation that you don't know. Now, does that make any sense when you're on a network trying to build your network? It doesn't make any sense at all. Why would they do that? Because they have paid subscriptions.
What about somebody that you do know but don't care for? Is there any advantage to?
If you really dislike somebody, you can choose not to accept their invitation.
Obviously. But is
just
there an
ignore
advantage? Is there an advantage to going ahead and accepting them? I mean,
Yeah. If they're really connected, you automatically get their first and second level networks in your network. Yeah.
What I mentioned about IPKs.
Yeah. And the thing is, I would really encourage you to never, when somebody invites you to connect, don't ever say you don't know them. That's one of the options that comes up, right? It's called IDKing people. So that's another thing. If you scroll down just a little bit, in the summary part, I always have people put this at the top, and I'd really encourage you to do it too. All invitations to connect are welcome. I never IDK. And then put your email address here. By the way, little hint, start a new Gmail address just for LinkedIn. Don't put your own email address there. As you get better known on LinkedIn, your inbox is going to be flooded. And it's, you're going to get your share of spam. It's going to happen. There's no way to avoid it. So I just always create a new Gmail address for people. And for one thing, if you get spam, you know where it came from. Because the only place you use this Gmail address or whatever is on LinkedIn, right? It's just a really great tip. So this thing about I never IDK, that shows savvy LinkedIn users that it's safe to invite you again. You will not click that little thing that says, I don't know this person, because guess what? When somebody clicks that, it's a strike against you. And if you even have 3 people that say they don't know you, LinkedIn slaps you. And they punish you in different ways. They make it harder for you to invite people, etc. So that's why, when you join these groups that I told you about, Lion, Open Networker, and Top Linked, you're agreeing to never IDK somebody. You'll never say, I don't know. If you don't want to invite them, just ignore it.
Open networking, what's it, the last one?
Top
Lion.
Linked.
Top Linked.
Top Linked. Those groups are really huge groups on LinkedIn, all full of people that are safe to invite. Okay? So the whole goal here is we want to help each other, right? We don't want to be islands. We don't want to try to do this by ourselves. It's too hard being self-employed when you're all by yourself. You're working at home, you're trying to do everything yourself. There's always stuff you don't know that you need to know, and you need to know people that know what you don't know. And not only that, but think about this. When you have a really big network, and you start really seeing how, if you would go back to contacts again, and how LinkedIn just automatically groups people for you, this is so fascinating. Look at this. You scroll down. Go to scroll down again. We talked about how they have it by location. The industries. Click on that.
Next door, grab stuff, let's go.
Look at this. It automatically tells you how many people in your network are in all these different industries. Did you know this was there? No. Almost nobody knows this is there. This is amazing stuff. So philanthropy is one of the categories. Let's say that you have a friend that has a great cause and you want to help them. You can connect them to all the philanthropists you know. Think about how you can help people and how we can help each other by sharing our networks. So we're going to wrap up here. This is just a short talk, but something else just that I want to hit on just really briefly is that you want to make it easy for people to find you, okay? Like Doc was saying, he had been on LinkedIn for years, but nobody could find him. This is done by keywords, okay? So you have to optimize your LinkedIn profile just like you would a website. You got to put your keywords in the right places. It takes a while to know where those right places are. That's one thing I do to help people teach them about where the right places are. But LinkedIn is starting to be searched by recruiters even more than Monster. For those of you who are looking for a job, recruiters don't like using Monster as much because they have to pay for that. LinkedIn's free to them. And by the way, I don't see any real good reason for any of us to pay for a membership on LinkedIn. You can do so much without that. You can do so much with a free account. Okay. So we're wrapping up here, and what I want to say is, obviously we haven't had a chance to go over a whole lot, but we've got 3 free seminars coming up at the Tampa Bay Computer Society in downtown Clearwater area. And you can find out where those are by, Doc's going to be passing out the brochures, so it's going to give you a map how to get there. They're all free food and free seminar. You can learn all about this. And 3 of them in October coming up. So.
Or you can join the group on LinkedIn.
You can join the group on LinkedIn, Tampa Bay 500.
Sure, you got it.
Absolutely. Connect with me. Connect with Doc. David Atkinson also has a very large network. Kathy Perry. Lots of people in this group have major networks. That'll get you going. And thank you so much for your time today.
Yes.